Right now, we're hearing from a local 16-year-old about how vaping nearly cost him his life. His message to other young people. And students at Milton High School will face consequences after posting an offensive photo, but the district is not commenting on details.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
We start tonight with breaking news into the Channel 3000 Alert Center. Madison Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway says American Transmission Company refuses to release their full investigative report into what caused the substation fire in downtown Madison in July. According to a release from the mayor, 2 months after the fire, neither the city nor Dane County has been given the final report. Rhodes-Conway says ATC's Director of Environmental and Local Relations refused to give her office the report and told her a press release sent out yesterday was sufficient. The mayor sent a letter to ATC today listing questions that are still unanswered about the incident. Madison doctors have an urgent message for parents and teens today. They say vaping, a habit of about 25% of high schoolers, can leave young people with lifelong injuries. Madeline O'Neill tells us how a 16-year-old is using his near-death experience to help others.
Here at the American Family Children's Hospital, last week doctors saw their first patient in its pediatric intensive care unit because of vaping.
Thought that juuling was safer than smoking regular cigarettes. I was wrong.
Whether you call it juuling, smoking e-cigarettes, or vaping, many like 16-year-old Logan Cron didn't fully know the risks.
I was scared, very scared, and not knowing if your son's going to make it or not.
Rebecca Cron says at first she didn't even know her son was vaping.
I never saw it, never knew.
But they knew something was wrong when his lungs became severely inflamed and filled with liquid.
Doctors gave me medicine and hooked me up to machines that help me breathe.
Even treated, breathing still hard.
I found out that I had something called chemical pneumonitis, which is caused by vaping. As a result, I came very close to dying.
Doctors say Logan's condition, also known as chemical pneumonia, was rare in children, especially before vaping became popular.
I think it's devastating.
UW Health hospitalist Brian Williams says the e-cigarette movement has created a new generation of children addicted to nicotine.
We've had incredible gains over decades. People are smoking less and less cigarettes. Unfortunately, especially in the pediatric population, e-cigarettes have completely wiped away those gains.
Vaping has left Logan with lasting damage and an uncertain future.
We don't really have the long-term data right now to know what's going to happen.
UW Health doctors gathered to share their message can say this.
We know these devices are not safe for kids.
While the CDC has found about 80% of patients with acute vaping-related illnesses have used THC products, which are often unregulated, doctors say it's still hard to determine what is causing the issues.
Right now, what we can encourage is that any teen, any young adult should not be using the products, either THC, CBD oil, or nicotine products, because it can cause lung injury.
Among the unknowns, Logan is sure he doesn't want others in his place.
While quitting might seem rather difficult, going through this is far worse.
Logan's mom says her son has shared his story with classmates, and already 2 of his friends have decided to quit. In Madison, Madeline O'Neill, News 3 Now.
In the past 2 months, UW Health doctors have seen at least 10 cases of lung injury in teens and young adults who vape. Doctors are advocating to raise the age for vaping devices and cigarettes to 21 years old. We have resources for quitting on our website. Next at 6, Madison police are warning about an especially bad batch of drugs after 2 reported overdoses. The victims may have ingested crack cocaine that was laced with another substance, possibly fentanyl. One person died, another is on breathing support. Both overdoses happened in the East Washington Avenue corridor within a 6-hour period today. One person is dead and 2 others are in the hospital after a shooting at a Wausau cemetery. The suspect was taken into custody. That person has not been identified, but we know he is a former employee of the cemetery. The incident started this morning just after 8 o'clock when crews were called to a suspicious garage fire a few blocks down the street. All 3 victims were either cemetery employees or related to employees. Well, we've been gifted a little bit of time to dry out before our next chance for rain. Let's check your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti.
Every little bit helps, Charlotte, and it looks like tomorrow will be a dry day before the next chance of rain moves in later on tomorrow night. As we take a look at visible cloud track, we had clouds to start the day, but we've seen some breaks in the clouds, allowing at least a little sunshine to come through. Probably see a little more sunshine tomorrow. But the good news is those clouds are not bringing us any precipitation. Right now, not seeing any rain for probably at least the next 24 hours. Low temperatures this morning were in the upper 40s to the lower to middle 50s. Here in Madison, the low temperature is 54, but that's not our current temperature, so we'll probably drop below that and have new low temperatures set before midnight. Dew point temperatures are in the upper 30s and lower 40s, so temperatures will probably drop into the lower 40s by tomorrow morning with partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, look for a partly sunny but cool day with a high of 57. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
A 15-year-old Sun Prairie High School student could face charges for making terrorist threats and obstruction. On Friday, she called 911 to report 2 girls in the bathroom were talking about shooting up the school. She said one of the girls had a handgun. Authorities determined those claims were made up. A $250,000 cash bail has been set for the man accused in a fatal hit and run on East Washington Avenue. 44-year-old Jason Natcone of Oregon is facing 11 felony counts, including first-degree reckless homicide. A 71-year-old Chicago man was killed, and his wife was injured in the August crash. A judge has sentenced a Milwaukee man to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the shooting death of police officer Matthew Rittner. Jordan Fricke was found guilty of shooting Rittner while a tactical unit served a search warrant at his home in February. Jurors rejected claims that the 4 shots were fired in self-defense before he realized the intruders were really police. Students at a Rock County high school have been punished after a photo of them surfaced making an offensive image. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter was first with this story and joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with the latest.
Well, Charlotte, the school district of Milton isn't saying much tonight or really answering any of our questions, but they are saying several students are accused of misconduct earlier this week.
Several students from Milton High School are facing undisclosed consequences tonight after a photo reportedly surfaced of them making what the district is calling an offensive image this past Monday. Interim Superintendent Richard Dahman now refusing to answer questions about the incident, saying in a statement, quote, "We are confident that our school and district administration have promptly investigated this incident and addressed it." This morning, our newsroom received a tip that was substantiated by a student at the school, claiming students involved were laying on the floor in the shape of a swastika. Dahman refusing to confirm or deny. And while he says the students involved have already gotten their punishments, he won't clarify how many students or what that punishment is.
I also spoke with Milton's head football coach earlier this morning, who told me that at least one of his players is suspended for this week's upcoming game, but he wouldn't clarify anything beyond that. Now, this is a developing story, and we will continue to update both here on TV and also on our website, Channel 3000, as more details come in.
Adam, thank you. The Bipartisan Speakers Task Force on Adoption has released its list of recommendations. One of them would expand the eligibility for assistance payments because there's such a high need in the state. Under current law, children who are 10 years old and up are qualified for assistance. If a child is a member of a sibling group of 3 or more, they can receive assistance. The task force wants to see the eligibility age and the sibling count lowered so more prospective adoptive families can get financial help. New at 6, Hy-Vee says Wisconsin stores were impacted by a data breach discovered in July. At the Fitchburg and both Madison locations, the Market Grill restaurant systems were impacted between January and early July. Malware could have accessed cardholders' names, card numbers, expiration dates, and verification codes, but it did not copy data from all payment cards. You can find more information at hyvee.com/paymentcardincident. The chocolate shop ice cream company is vowing a legal fight after the new owners of its Atwood Avenue location locked them out. According to a Facebook post, the new owners are not honoring the current lease, and the hostile relationship has forced the walk-up location to close for the rest of the 2019 season. According to the State Journal, the new owner claims the lease is poorly written and unenforceable, and they want to open their own ice cream shop at the site. The chocolate shop plans to take legal action. Next at 6, after their 7th flood in 2 years, the Darlington community is in recovery mode again. We'll hear from a business owner who is experiencing it for the first time. And there is more local news ahead. Wet weather delayed the planting season, and now farmers are dealing with harvesting issues. That story's tonight on News 3 Now at 10. Clean Lakes Alliance is asking for the community's help to restore land north of Pheasant Branch Conservancy. Dane County purchased the 160-acre farmland and dedicated $250,000 to restoring it to a natural prairie. That'll prevent nearly 5 million gallons of runoff water from entering our lakes each year and help mitigate flooding.
Pheasant Branch Conservancy goes directly into Lake Mendota. By doing this, we're going to prevent soil and phosphorus from going to lakes. This is one of the major tributaries to Lake Mendota. So the more that we can get the soil to stay where it is, that's going to help the lakes now and into the future.
Alliant Energy has donated a $100,000 challenge grant to Clean Lakes Alliance to help. If you would like to donate, go to cleanlakesalliance.org. Water from the Pecatonica River is slowly moving out of Darlington, but city officials say that rain this weekend could once again bring the waters up to moderate flood stages. Rose Schmidt explains how those who live and work downtown are coping.
The Main Street Bridge is closed, and it's expected to stay that way for at least a day or so until the Pecatonica River gets down to 15 feet.
This is not normal to me, but I guess it will be.
After the 7th flood in 2 years, questions are surfacing about what's supposed to be normal in Darlington.
I'm from Chicago, and we don't flood like this, and so this is a first for me.
Ann Hasty moved to Darlington 6 months ago to buy the Townhouse, a restaurant on Main Street.
It's been kind of incredible to become part of this community.
Even despite its flaws.
I actually live about 5 minutes away, right on the other side of the river, so we had to drive all the way around. It was about an hour drive.
The city is currently divided in two, as the Main Street Bridge is the connection point from one side of the city to the other.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit discouraging.
Police Chief Jason King says he wants the water to recede faster, so he can open up the bridge at least one lane.
But the waters have to get down to 15 feet before we can make that happen.
In the meantime, he's issuing a warning.
People think that maybe they can get around that barricade and get across because they're driving a truck or something like that. But what they're not taking into consideration is what's going on underneath that water.
He says manhole covers could pop up and someone could get stuck inside, or the road could be completely washed out. Right now, the community is just hoping for no more rain and no more flooding.
We're just plugging away and trying to keep Main Street open for those on this side of the river that can get to it.
Darlington schools were closed today, and the police chief says he won't be surprised if they're still closed tomorrow due to flooding. In Darlington, I'm Rose Schmidt, News 3 Now.
The Pecatonica River appears to have crested tonight at around 15.8 feet, meaning it did not reach major flood stages. Next at 6, cooler weather tonight, plus a short break from the rain. Gary tells us when the showers return next in your first alert forecast. Like that, we've passed the 3,000 mark. Thanks to everyone who's helping us finish strong. If you have a coat or winter accessories that you haven't donated yet, you don't have much time. Please get your items to cleaners by this Saturday so they can be cleaned and sent to the Community Action Coalition for distribution. Now, for those of you who want to get a hold of a coat, our distribution starts October 15th at the Community Action Coalition's Free Clothing Center. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti joins us now with a look at our shortly dry forecast.
Well, today was dry. Tomorrow should be dry. The next chance of rain will be from tomorrow night into Saturday. And then there's another chance of rain on Thursday of next week. But the rest of the time, it should stay dry.
Good.
So keep your fingers crossed. Let's start out by taking a look at what's happening right now. We started out today with quite a bit of cloud cover, but there have been some breaks in the overcast, which is good. And none of those clouds are bringing any precipitation across southern Wisconsin. Also good news. Now, showers, isolated thunderstorms from late tomorrow night into Saturday, ending Saturday evening. Latest computer model forecast about a ½ inch through southern Wisconsin areas east of Madison, closer to 1/3 of an inch. Toward La Crosse, maybe around an inch of rain. But looking at the next chance of rain, which will be Thursday of next week, the GFS computer model shows a fairly intense storm system and the potential for about 1.5 inches to maybe 2 inches of rain over Wisconsin. Now, again, this is about a week out, so things are subject to change, but it does bear some watching, and because it's going to be a fairly significant cold front behind it. Temperatures will turn fall-like, and by Saturday morning, we could be looking at our first frost. The European computer model, much less in the way of precipitation, only around 1/3 of an inch in southern Wisconsin. It keeps the heavier precipitation farther out to the east. So looking at the two models, they're in disagreement. Confidence right now is low in the forecast for the amount of rain, but we are expecting showers and thunderstorms on Thursday of next week. Live view from the WISC Skycam as we head toward sunset, getting a little more sunshine and a few more breaks in the clouds. The Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison showing a little sunshine on the Capitol. Looks like a plane going by in the background there. As we check out the almanac for today, high temperature a little bit cooler than normal at 59. The low is 54, but that's also our current temperature, and we'll probably drop below that over the next few hours. Winds out of the west-northwest at 8 continue to diminish. Dew point temperature 41. The air being dry, we should probably dry out pretty quickly overnight. And you can see that the temperatures right now, low temperatures this morning, were in the lower 50s, but they were in the 40s to our north and west. And we'll probably be in the lower 40s here. In fact, tonight it'll be cold enough where frost advisories have been issued from northwestern Iowa through much of western Minnesota and into the arrowhead of Minnesota as well. And freeze warnings are in effect for North Dakota. Temperatures right now, mid-50s here, upper 40s already to the north and west. And with the air being very dry, those dew point temperatures in the middle 30s across much of Minnesota and the Dakotas. So that's the area that will probably get even colder than what we'll have. But the upper level winds still from the southwest here. That'll keep our temperatures up enough to not have to worry about frost tonight. The shower threat moving farther to the south, but a large area of high pressure sitting over the Dakotas pretty much expands across much of the Midwest. So that's giving us the cool air. That's driven all the way south, almost to the Ohio River, south of which still summer is hanging out with temperatures in the 80s to near 90 degrees and dew point temperatures in the mid-60s to around 70 degrees. But as that cooler and drier air moves in, it'll lead to cool overnight low temperatures and keep the threat for rain fairly low, at least in the short term. You can see on future track, quiet weather for tonight and tomorrow. The next weather system starts coming in out of the southwest, bringing us some shower chances late tomorrow night, and then showers and a few thunderstorms are likely on Saturday. So overnight, look for skies to be partly cloudy, low temperature dropping to a cool 41 degrees, and then for tomorrow, partly sunny skies and another cool day, high temperature topping out at 57. On future track, you can see quiet conditions for tonight, low temperatures dropping into the lower 40s, high temperatures tomorrow topping out in the upper 50s. For tomorrow night, those clouds start to move in. Could see some showers late tomorrow night with low temperatures in the middle 40s, and then showers and a couple of thunderstorms on Saturday. High temperatures will top out in the upper 50s. Rainfall amounts around a ½ inch through southern Wisconsin through Saturday evening. Then we have dry weather Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Showers and thunderstorms likely on Thursday, but following that, fall kicks in with maybe some frost by early Saturday morning.
Do you all remember this guy? It's longtime Packer and now Dallas Cowboy Randall Cobb. We'll hear from him in sports. The Badger football team has the fourth of its 5-game homestand Saturday when they play the Kent State Golden Flashes at Camp Randall at 11 a.m. The game's going to be televised on ESPNU. Now, we know the Badgers are ranked #1 in the nation in total defense, so it follows they're the best rushing defense in the country, too. Now, there are 130 major college FBS teams. Do you see where Kent State is ranked in rushing defense this season? 130th. That's dead last. They allowed 467 rushing yards to Auburn earlier this year. Think Jonathan Taylor might have a day Saturday? Well, Paul Christ is being very kind about that.
You know, you go up against an opponent, and just because other teams have had success doesn't guarantee that you're going to, right? And yet I think it is, whether it's offense, defense, any of it, it's you're in control of what you do. You've got to be prepared to be able to win it, running the ball, throwing the ball, mix of them, right?
When the Packers play the Dallas Cowboys Sunday afternoon in Dallas at 3:25, it'll be a bit of a reunion for one of the Packers' most popular players. Number 18 is Randall Cobb, who played 8 productive seasons in Green Bay before becoming a free agent and signing with Dallas. This season, Cobb has 14 catches for the Cowboys. He caught his first touchdown pass of the season with his new club against the Giants a couple of weeks ago. Cobb is downplaying facing his former team, but he also remembers history.
I'm worried about this week, honestly. I'm not really worried about the past.
Did you think Des caught it?
I was waiting on that. I've been getting that a lot since I've been here. But, you know, we didn't know what the rules was back then. It's probably a catch nowadays.
Our Prep Mania game of the week is Monona Grove at Oregon. Tomorrow night, we're live on channel3000.com at 7 with the Silver Eagles and Panthers in the Badgers South Conference battle. Tonight on the UW campus, there's a battle for first place in Big Ten women's soccer. Wisconsin and Michigan both undefeated. They'll play at McClymonds at 8. And tonight is Rose Lavelle night, although the U.S. World Cup star won't physically be there. She's playing professionally for the Washington Spirit in the NWSL. There will be Rose Lavelle-themed shirts and a poster giveaway tonight, though. Lavelle has become a rising star for the U.S. women's national team. That's good for Rose Lavelle and good for Wisconsin women's soccer.
She's made people excited about women's soccer, not just here from Wisconsin, but in the United States. She's a bit flashy, she's a little bit more creative, she's fun to watch. And because of that, I think you've seen little girls want to be Rose Lavelle now. And I was getting dinner out when we were on the road, and they saw Wisconsin women's soccer, and the first person said behind us, Rose Lavelle. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
And the baseball playoffs continue. The Brewers would have been playing in Los Angeles, but it's the Washington Nationals against the Dodgers in Game 1 of the NLDS. Game 1 in progress. Atlanta, Braves and Cardinals tied in the 6th, 1-1. Charlotte grew up in St. Louis. I was a Braves fan when they were in Milwaukee, so.
And I'm waiting for next year.
Yeah, well, you can enjoy our game and see what's up. So.
And the Brewer fans are too.
Well,
cool out there. It doesn't feel like baseball weather. Temperatures in the mid-50s right now. Look for lows in the lower 40s.
All right, thank you, Gary. And thank you for joining us. Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.